Hi, welcome to Buffzone. My name is Ryan Thorburn. I'm covering the Buffs men's basketball program this year. Yes, they still play basketball at CU. Jeff Buzdelic is a new coach, and Neil and I are going to talk about it.
Hey Ryan, I've always said that the Buff basketball fans are like the Marines, the few, the proud. And sometimes you have to wonder about their common sense. But since I have season tickets, you have to ask about that too. The Buffs are still playing basketball. I think they have a great new head coach. I think there's a great future. But as for the present, it's going to get a little bit dicey right now, especially if you look back as far as they've gone from the season to this point.
I agree. I think Jeff Buzdelic is the right hire for this program. When you look at Texas A&M 4 years ago, they were 0-16 in league. I think the Buffs are going to maybe win 4 or 5 league games, but in 4 years, look for them to be near the top.
I agree. I think if you look at the change that Jeff Buzdelic has brought to the program already, and there are just little tiny things, but the discipline on the floor, the way they run their offense, the way they play defense, all the little things, I think if you look carefully and watch the way they play the game of basketball, I think you can see improvement over this team from even a year ago or 2 years ago.
Well, I think Richard Roby has played his way back into the second round of the NBA draft already. He's shooting a high percentage. Xavier Silas is coming along. The 2 freshmen they have, Corey Higgins and Levi Knutson, have been great role players. So I think even in this year, which is going to be a struggle, you're seeing the signs of what's to come.
Looking back at the preseason or the non-conference schedule, I thought they had some nice wins. Going to Fort Collins and picking up a win was a good win for them. Interestingly, they played almost better on the road than they have at the Coors Event Center, and I'm not sure how you can explain that other than it's just one of the vagaries of their season so far. But they open up on the road with not an easy game. Their Big 12 schedule coming up this weekend.
The Big 12, the other 11 teams are 99-8 at home in non-conference play. The Colorado Buffaloes 3-4. That's why they're picked last in the league. That's why they'll probably finish last. They do not have a home court advantage, and that's the next step for the program, is to get some butts in the seats.
Yeah, and they have to win at home to do that, and I think that's going to be a tough thing for them to win anywhere this year. The Big 12 is as good a conference as there is in the nation right now, too. If you look at the teams that are ranked in the top 25, I mean, there's Kansas, Texas, and Texas A&M right there are three teams that are capable of going to the Final Four. I'm not saying they will, but those are 3 very capable teams. And those are teams that they're going to see this year, starting with A&M on Saturday.
The Buffs were 8-6 in the non-conference. Last year they won 7 games total, 3 in the Big 12. Neil, what is a good season for Jeff the first year?
I'd like to see him win 12 or 13 games. I'd like to see him win, if he wins 5 games in the Big 12, and I'm not saying they will, but if he can win 5 Big 12 games, given the schedule, given the problems they've had with Jeremy Williams being ineligible, a lot of the stuff that has happened, some injuries, if they can win 5 more games, I think that'd be a nice step forward for the program.
I tell you what, if they win 6 Big 12 games, Jeff Buzdelic should be considered for Big 12 Coach of the Year.
If they win 6 Big 12 games, he should be National Coach of the Year.
All right, Neil, that wraps up our first Buffzone Program of the Year on men's basketball. We'll see you all back here next week after the Buffs take on Texas A&M and Nebraska to open things up. Thanks a lot.